And welcome back, everyone, to They Fly Now Show podcast, where today we're going to discuss the anthology movies, because, you know what, screw structure. We were going to plan out slates and, space it out more, but I was like, no, the anthologies and prequels kind of just deserve to go back-to-back next to each other, so I decided to do it this way because I thought it'd be interesting, and I feel like we can get the anthologies out of the way now instead of, next slate, so, yeah, that's kind of...
And we have, two of, the best anthology people here, people who absolutely love those films, so it should be a really great time, so let's get on with the show.
They fly now!
They fly now! They fly now!
And we're back. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. So obviously, Em, you've been here before, so we'll let you go first. So who are you and where can we find you and your content?
Hi, I'm Emily. I think this is my third time on, so thank you for having me.
Because you were on for the current Star Wars one of them.
And then Rey Skywalker.
That's right. That is
right. So happy to be back. Thank you for having me. You can find me on TikTok at StardustM or on Twitter at _ StardustM.
Yeah, awesome. We appreciate you coming on again. You're like a regular now. Only a few people have been on 3 times. You're one of the only ones.
Yeah. That's such a special status to have.
Crazy. And Liv, same thing to you.
Thanks so much. This is actually the first podcast I've ever been on, so I'm very excited. Yeah. So I'm Liv. You can find me on pretty much every platform as Olivia Amidala. Yeah. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Nice. I just saw your Kira cosplay. It's incredible.
Oh my god, thank you.
It's really, really good.
Thank you.
Which can bring us into our next thing. Are you going to be wearing that at Celebration?
Yes, I am. I actually have 2 Kira cosplays. So this Kira, and then I'm working on her outfit from War of the Bounty Hunters, the comics. Ooh. With the cape and all that. So
yes.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Which everyone on the panel's going. We're gonna take over Celebration. We have there's literally so many people who we've just met online randomly through TikTok who are going to Star Wars Celebration. It's amazing.
Last I count, it's 40 people, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's literally 40 people who just met through this kind of stuff, which is just, it's really, really crazy. What day are you guys all flying out? I know, Hereth, you're going out on Tuesday of that week. What about you guys?
I'm flying there. I'm landing Thursday morning and then leaving Sunday, which wish I stayed until Monday now, but
you know.
I know, that's what I'm feeling too. I'm leaving Sunday night, but I want to go. I want to stay an extra day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when I wish I stayed an extra day because I don't know if I'm gonna see the Bad Batch panel because usually from what I was reading they do the big panels in the morning, so hopefully I have time to go to that panel if I get in. But for the most part, I'm I wish I kind of stayed for Sunday because I would love to do the meet and greet photo op with Kelly Marie Tran. I was damn it.
I know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's there are so many great photo ops. Obviously, the Ewan one just got announced earlier this week.
And it's already sold out. It's the only one that's sold out, all of them.
That's insane. And I know, Hereth, you bought it.
Yeah, $300 money regret. Woo. Dad.
So, whenever I was thinking about it, I was I really want to get this. But I could also buy a lot of really nice things for $300.
Yeah.
And maybe possibly run into Ewan McGregor on the sidewalk. So I'm I'm going to take the gamble.
I'm going to take the gamble.
We're going to take the gamble. We're going to spend maybe $300 on random stuff.
No, because it was funny.
Or maybe meet a few people. Right? We could meet, bunch of people
It was-
for $300.
It was funny because I was talking to Luke like a couple days ago, and I was like, yeah, my budget probably for photo ops in general is like 300, maybe 400 max. And then you when it got announced, I was like, well, there goes that budget. Time to set a new one.
Oh my gosh, that's insane! Like, I couldn't spend $300 to meet someone. I don't know. I mean, obviously some people do. My boy Hereth over here is spending the big racks. Spend the
I
big
say that,
racks
and I'm
on
like,
it.
if I know that, like, I was like, oh, it's so expensive to meet him, and then I was like, but if Diego comes and he's the same price, I'm
But, like, you're gonna
pay
get
it.
it, right? Yeah. The only thing that I'm bummed about is there's 0 Ghost Crew members right now.
I know. I was surprised. I was honestly,
Like,
I was surprised
0.
thinking about how
really
there didn't
thought
seem to be
there
any
was
rebels. Like, and I know that like at least
nothing.
Steven does, or Steve does a quite a few conventions and
Yeah.
stuff, and recently even.
Yeah, that's why I was like really, really hoping for just someone. Like my dream would be to get Taylor Gray to sign my Ezra Pop. Like my life would be complete. I would be done with everything. Like yeah, like my life would be complete.
You're like,
But he's not. Like no one's even there. I got all the Ghost Crew pop figures, and not one of them are coming.
I'm wondering, like, part of it is like I kind of wonder if it's gonna be because they're announcing like the new Rebels cast with like Ahsoka, if they're gonna end up announcing people. But then I'm like, does that mean like I still feel like they could do meet and greets and stuff? Like they
I
still
know.
deserve to have like their moment.
Or are they like? I wonder if there's like anything like sour between them because like you canceled our Rebels sequel. We're not going to your stuff. I don't know. I hope not.
Maybe they're just saving them. Maybe they'll announce them.
Maybe, maybe right after this podcast airs, they'll
Yep.
be doing Rebels announcement. That would be
I
incredible.
can't wait for what we're saying to age like melt completely and be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is announced. Oh yeah, this is announced.
Wednesday, the entire Rebels voice cast will be announced, and we'll all look like fools.
If there was the entire cast bundle, I would pay a lot
if
of money for
I
that.
would, David, if Callus came,
Oh.
it would be over.
Game over.
But also,
I would spend a lot of money
I forget.
on that.
I forget who said it. I think it was BP Style who said it on his TikTok. He was so right when he said this. He's like, he joked about on his TikTok that like Ewan McGregor by like Saturday is gonna be so sick of hearing "hello there" so many times because every single person in a row are gonna say it, and it's gonna be like he's gonna be like, "My God, I hate Star Wars fans. Why the hell did they just keep saying this?"
Well, and I learned this yesterday from Hereth that this is Ewan's first convention.
Yeah, because he canceled all on the other 3.
Yeah, he cancels.
Wow.
So it's kind of exclusive. Like we're gonna be at Ewan McGregor's first ever convention. Now I want to fact check that to make sure.
No,
that
I was literally looking it up while I was talking to Luke, and I was like, yeah, it is. It's first.
that's actually That's really crazy to me because he's been around for 30 years, like acting, right? So for this to be his first one, and we're gonna be there, and Hereth is gonna spend the money and meet him.
Spent $300, just
That's
going
crazy.
broke.
This is
That's crazy.
Liv and I are like, ooh, first ever convention. You know who also hasn't done a convention ever?
Ewan
Alden!
McGregor.
Oh, I feel like Holden's been to.
Alden, we
Something?
don't. We have not found like any pictures, and we don't think that he's been to any celebration.
He went. So it sounds like when they announced like the cast of Solo, he was there, but
Mhm.
like he was just at the panel. He didn't do
Oh.
anything.
well, because probably everyone was like, "Who's this guy?"
Exactly.
Who's this guy? Yeah. No, I feel that. Yeah, have you guys bought any of the meet and greets yet? Besides
Not yet.
Hereth? Yeah, I haven't either, and I'm gonna wait.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna wait the week of, and then to really just kind of, like decide and pick out who I want. Because I think I'll probably buy one, but I also think it might be smart to buy one with a friend and just get your picture with the person so you
Mhm.
can split it. because they're allowing one person, correct?
Yeah, it's up to
One
2 adults.
person to. Yeah, so that'll for sure be good. But yeah, there's so many of us going. It's gonna be a great time. I know some of us are going to Disney World, maybe building our own lightsabers. Like, it's just gonna be Star Wars on crack. And I bet that the natives to Anaheim are gonna be so annoyed with all the Star
Oh
Wars
no,
fans.
I feel bad
by
for
the end of-
anyone working Disney that week because it's Memorial Day weekend and celebration on top of
Oh,
each
right.
other.
Yeah, they're just gonna see a bunch of nerds walking around
Hmm.
walking around Disney for that week, but it'll be a great time. So moving a little bit forward, we also have Brotherhoods kind of coming up. I think next week,
On May 10th,
2
yeah.
weeks,
2 weeks from now.
May 10th. Whew. So that's coming up. Are you guys excited for Brotherhood? Because I know we're pretty excited over here.
I'm pretty excited. I just finished reading Queen's Hope, and like the
Ooh, what'd
authors
you think
did
of it?
say that it like directly ties into
Yes.
it. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to see like how they tie together.
Yeah, how they come. I wonder what's because like we no spoiler for Queen's Hope, but we obviously see Anakin a few times in there, so I wonder if like part of his journey, and we're gonna get Anakin's POV,
Mhm.
or what Anakin's doing after the fact. I think that's gonna be really really interesting. How about you, Em? Have you read Queen's Hope?
I have. Yeah, I finished it a little while ago. I also really enjoyed it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest prequel era fan, so I'll probably read Brotherhood and I like it, but it's not like my
Mhm.
most top end.
It's not your jam.
Yeah, but I'll probably like it, and I definitely want to read it and get in that Obi-Wan mindset for Kenobi.
Yeah. Which, yeah. See, there's something with Obi-Wan's finale that's something going on. I forget. But I got whenever I was going, little story time, whenever I was going to get my copy of Queen's Hope, I went to Barnes and Noble's and they had a signed edition there for the same price as the normal one. So I got the signed edition. I was like, yes. And there's so many authors going to Celebration too. Like, so many authors. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I forgot all
Low-key.
the
yes,
High
like
Republic
all
authors.
the High Republic, they're all coming. So like, low key, I'm more excited for the authors a little bit.
Me
Yeah.
too.
I'm so excited.
Like
DOJ is
I'm
going
like,
to witness me
yes.
sobbing over Reese Silas.
Charles Soule is going to be sick of me. He's just gonna be sick of me.
and like, I feel like they're so much more approachable than the actors too,
Mhm.
because like the actors, like everyone's gonna be going to the actors, but like only a certain select few, I feel like, are gonna be going to the authors. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's gonna be so cool.
It's-
So cool.
I kind of joke about like how like in comic conventions it's weird how like the comics itself are like the most least part like important part of the convention, and like everything around
Mhm.
it is the most important. I feel like Celebration's the same, where it's like these books and comics are like on the back burner while all the movies and shows are on the front.
Yeah.
I kept waiting to see if they would announce like more authors, like especially because like I know some of like the Brotherhood authors just going to Celebration, and like he's
Yeah,
gonna be
Mike
huge.
Chen said that. Yes. He's
But
gonna
I
get a
kept
picture with
waiting
you.
for them to announce more because I know like Beth Revis, like Princess and the Scoundrel is coming out, so I was hoping that they'd announce her and I could maybe get my Rebel Rising copy signed by her.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's funny that Mike Chen like bought his Ewan photo op, and he's just gonna be waiting in line just like everyone else. That's like so funny to me.
And yeah, he said he's gonna pose with the Brotherhood copy, which I find is hilarious.
Yeah. Which maybe he'll just give. I would just give Ewan a copy. Honestly, get him to read
Just
your book.
slides it under the glass, plastic glass window.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I feel like now is a good time. We can kind of start moving into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, and this is the anthology films. So we have two diehard fans here. Hereth, what are your opinions on the anthology films before we get started?
I felt like Rogue One is definitely a top 5 Star Wars film in my opinion. I feel like it gets like that enough like attention where it's not like overrated where the fans are like talking about it too much, where it's not like Solo where it's like super underrated. It's like right in that sweet spot. And then
Yeah.
and for Solo, I would say I agree with M on this. Like Solo is arguably the most underrated Star Wars media, probably next to Resistance in my opinion. Those two are like the most underrated pieces of Star Wars media.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree with you there. I would say Last Jedi is also very underrated. But like Last Jedi has its diehard fans. I feel like Solo does, but it's a lot less than the.
It's just
I feel like
it's the two of us today.
it's just. But like, I just think, like, I feel like the Last Jedi fans go to war all the time,
Oh, yeah.
and the Solo fans are just like, woohoo, we love Solo.
It was like, it was rough at first, where it's like, oh my god, we hate Solo because of Last Jedi, and then after the film came out, it was just like silent and nobody talked about it, and then
Forgotten.
TikTok happened, and then everyone was like, oh yeah, we love Solo.
Yeah. So let's go to Solo first, and we'll go Rogue One second. So how we're gonna do this is we're just gonna alternate between the two of you guys, giving us your top 5 moments of the movies. Now, obviously, like from there, just kind of we can just start talking about anything. So if you guys like want to just go off. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about Solo, because it's a little bit lower on my list, but I'm just eager to talk to like some big diehard Solo fans. So let's go to Liv first. If your number 5 Solo moment.
My number 5. I think there's so many good like it was so hard to choose just 5 because I love this movie so much. But I think my number 5 would probably be like the fight between Kira and Dryden Voss. Just like the energy is so good, and I just love Kira. Kira is the love of my life. but she's just so badass in that scene, and like I love the look on Dryden's face when he realizes that she's turned against him.
Mm-hmm.
And like his kind of love for her. I don't want to say love because he's weird and I don't like him, but his love for her like made him weak, but I don't know. I just like that part.
No, yeah, I agree. And Kira is a badass. Like, she fights Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people can do that and live.
Like my favorite part of like that battle is I love how it starts with like Tobias Beckett like grabbing Chewie and going, and then like they instantly just jump into cover and they're ready just to go.
Yes.
And they're like,
Yeah.
like you go first. Like no, like I'll walk in front of there. It was like good trick Solo, and like they just start fighting each other. I love the whole sequence from like start to finish as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the knives. Are they like vibro blades or what are they?
I think
Like
they're
the
vibro
red-
blades.
Like those are a really cool touch.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's like they can't use like lightsabers, and it's like better. It's like it just looks cooler than a normal knife. So yeah, those are really cool. But yeah, like Kira's a badass, and I do wish we got her in Book of Boba too.
Me too. I
Like-
think about it all the time. I literally had a series on TikTok each week called Kira Watch,
Kira
and it just got progressively more depressing. Because I'm just like,
We know that.
Kira Watch episode 7, I'm a clown.
I was like so sure. Even to last episode, I was like, they're gonna show her right at the very end. She's gonna come, and then it was just like no. And I was like, we got Ahsoka in this, and we didn't even see the other crime syndicate.
I know, like it did upset me. I feel like everyone was like lighting candles and praying and manifesting that we were gonna see Kira, and it just didn't happen. Like
it made sense though.
I know, that's why. Unless they have other plans for her to get killed off in the comic.
Don't speak it into existence.
She was at the Battle of Mexico. She was. That's canon.
Oh, she was.
No,
Oh,
but that's canon according to me.
To
M
me.
canon.
me. Like, it does. It just freaking upsets me that we didn't get to see Kira in there. Especially like the last, like, the scene whenever Boba killed whatever his name is and like hung him
Oh,
off
you mean
of
Finnick?
like
Yeah, when Finnick like.
yeah,
goes
Finnick
over
hangs the guy. I really thought that was gonna be Kira in there, or like something with Kira, or like a hologram was gonna be of Kira, then it like goes away.
And like you don't even need anything. You just need
Like
to
the
get
mall
yeah.
hologram. You could have done like a
Yes.
mall hologram.
You don't even need that much. You just need to get Amelia Clark in a recording booth and a green
She
screen. And
wants to do it. She said she wants to return. She says she loves Kira and she would come back.
Then what are they waiting on? Like, just get her in. Get her in. But okay. Yeah. That fight is really, really cool. It just shows again how much of a badass Kira is. And Em, what's your number 5 moment of Solo?
Mine is a really small moment, but it's one of my favorite, like it's like poetry, it rhymes, Star Wars moments. It's Han and Lando's "I hate you, I know." I love that scene. I love how it parallels Han and Leia's "I love you, I know" moment from Empire Strikes Back. I think it's just like the perfect exemplary moment of Lando and Han's relationship and how their friendship like continues on. And I just think that Donald Glover and Alden have really great chemistry together. I think the whole cast does, but like they really did so well in those roles, in both making them their own and making them feel like Lando and Han. So yeah, it's just, I think that moment is so great and such a nice little like touch for Han fans.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to see more of them in Lando.
Alden in Lando. Alden in
Right?
Lando.
Manifested.
Right?
Make Solo 2 happen through Disney Plus.
Amelia also in Lando.
In Lando
Manifested.
too. Yeah, like I wonder if like it would be really cool if the Lando series was like a Billy D doing his thing, but then he has flashbacks and it's of Donald Glover. And then that
should
whole
call it
gang, like
Liv and I have said this, that if they call it Lando, that is kind of a missed opportunity to not call it the Calrissian Chronicles.
I just love how Chris is in the chat.
the
as soon as-
Calrissian Chronicles.
I just love how as soon as
I
you
love
say
that.
Lando, Chris is like on it, and also he said that was my idea, Carter. He's calling you out in the chat.
Wait. Oh no, okay, yes. That is Chris's idea. I'm sorry, Chris. That was your idea. Yeah. That was Chris's idea to have the thing. But it's a great idea. So shout out to Chris. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that they could do with the Lando show. And it's exciting. And I know there's like rumors of it maybe being canceled or pushed back like a long time.
I thought Donald Glover just in like an interview recently said that he was working on it, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I
like
mean,
I
it
did not
hasn't
hear that.
started production yet, but like they were definitely talking about it.
which also is glad because I remember like originally they did not attach him to the project, and I was like,
Huh.
Yeah, because
Oh, on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Donald Glover seemingly confirms his role in Disney Plus's Lando. Huh. Could have been a trilogy. Escape Reality Film says could have been a trilogy: Solo, a Star Wars story; Lando, a Star Wars story, then something else. Yeah, that he said it. Kira, a Star Wars story. Yeah, that could be cool. I just think it was a missed opportunity because I think Solo 2 could be so good. But maybe Solo 2 will live on through Lando and they're just going to market it different.
Kira, directed by
Maybe?
Bryce Dallas Howard. There you go.
Oh my god. Don't even put that idea in my head. I would die.
oh my god, just Deborah Chow, Bryce Dallas Howard, and like
Yes.
I'm trying to remember the other. Yes.
We have to manifest for this to happen and it will. Yeah, Brian says, "How could you, Carter?" What's the chat saying? Donald Glover has great chemistry with anyone. That is true. Donald Glover is a great addition to Star Wars, and it would be a waste to not use such a great actor. I mean, I think that's straight. Like it's kind of a waste not to use him. But yeah, if we want to move on to Liv, your number 4 moment in Solo.
So my number 4 is kind of the same. It's like about Han and Lando again, but like different. I just love their first introduction on Vandor, like in the cantina playing Sabacc.
Yes.
The shot of Han and like standing there, and then Lando's in between his legs is like burned into my brain. It's just so good. Everything about that scene is so good, and like Lando flirting with the droid, which
Yes.
and then Han just being pissy that he lost. It's just so good.
Yeah, that I love how they did that, and you like Lando's charisma while he's playing is just so perfect, and it's like that's Lando. Like I don't know, it's such a great scene. Hereth, what do you think about that?
Again, like I think Donald Glover just kills it in Solo in general. So like scenes like that, I feel like should really show off like why Donald Glover was like perfectly casted for Solo. And I feel like again, like that's not really a scene that like sticks out in my mind when I think about Solo. But yeah.
See, that is like one of the scenes that sticks out in my mind is that Sabacc scene. I don't know why. I just think it's so like them.
I just remember like Chewie slamming down the hollow like and like Han and Kira in like the Cape Closet. That's what I imagine more.
Yeah, the Cape Closet, which may be one of your guys' moments.
Oh, that's on the list.
That's on the list. Yeah, there. I mean, but can't you play Sabacc in Disney World, Disneyland?
On Galactic Star Cruiser, you can.
They sell the decks at Disney as well. I have one. It's actually quite fun.
So how do you play it?
It involves math, which is the worst part. But it's like you have to get as close to 0 as possible. So there's negative cards and positive cards and with different values. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. But again, it does involve math, which is not fun.
I feel like the fact that is a thing then does disqualify Han from being like a himbo, because if you can add and subtract in your head like that, then you're automatically not a himbo.
No, I just imagine Han's just a muscle player who just throws down cards and just doesn't know what it means.
And then randomly gets lucky sometimes. That's something we have to do. That's a requirement at Celebration.
I am bringing my deck at Celebration, so just come find me.
Please bring your deck. I'm honestly probably gonna buy one. We need to have a Sabacc night.
Yes.
A Sabacc tournament. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, that would be so much
This
fun.
is a great idea. Imagine like a 20-person Sabacc tournament.
Oh my god.
That'd be intense.
And the winner gets the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
You have to steal it from the park, and then you can drive it home somehow. I don't know how, but it could work. But yeah, a Sabacc tournament would be great. Sabacc and Solo is like, it's just perfect. Em, what is your number 4 moment?
I think my number 4 would be Han seeing the Falcon for the first time. First of all, the music cue that goes along with it is just so perfect. And then you have, like, I love how when he's walking, he says, like, it's probably just a piece of junk, like everyone else says the Falcon is. As soon as he sees it, he's just completely, like, blown away and just knows it's, like, that's his ship. And then just him walking on it and, like, looking through into space and going into hyperspace for the first time. It's so great. And I remember... I especially love that scene now after reading Most Wanted, where it's like we get this moment of like, I think the first time that Han ever goes in to space, and he's just like so amazed and is like, this is what I want to do forever. And it just kind of like reminds you of that moment when he's like, I think he's like 18 in that book, of like this is all he wants to do and all he needs, and like I just love that moment so much. And once again, the score of Solo is incredible.
Yes.
So
And that
good.
moment in particular really always, like, that music cue just always gets me, where I just, like, I can't help but, like, smile.
John Powell just absolutely kills Solo. Like I have like a score soundtrack, and one of those tracks I have in there is Remanence Therapy, and I just love just constantly replaying that track. Like, yes, it's the greatest hit album, but it's so good.
It's a very good soundtrack to drive to from experience, but you need to be on an expressway while you're listening to it.
You're going 60 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Just a Kessel Run on, like, a residential street.
Let's be honest. We've all been there. I feel like as Star Wars fans, we've all been there. Thinking that we're flying while driving and just playing Star Wars music while like vroom.
Even better at night when it's snowing.
At night.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hyperspace.
Like, I always feel like, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but whenever I'll be driving, say it's at night, it's snowy, and I'll be driving, and I'll feel like Kylo Ren in that one scene when he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's like pushing the things forward, and he's like looking into the camera like viciously, like going super fast, and I just feel like Kylo Ren. I don't know why. But I just feel, because like there's this scene, I think it's in Rise of Skywalker.
Is
and
it when
like,
he's trying to
pushing
run
down-
Rey over?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. When he's trying to run Rey over, and you just see his hands like slowly go over, and he's just like staring, and I feel like that all the time when I'm driving. I know that's so random, but I had to say it. But yeah, Liv, what's your number 3 moment? Getting into the top 3 now.
Top 3. I think my number 3 would have to be the chase on Corellia. It's just so well done, and
It is.
going back to recklessly driving, I just Han in this scene is so funny because he's so confident, but he's so bad. Like when he's going down the alley, like, watch this, and then he completely crashes the car and ruins it. Yep, I 100% relate to that. But just like all of the scenes on Corellia too are so good, and like Em said, reading Most Wanted, it really gives you a better appreciation for what they do on Corellia and like what they go through. But I don't know, I love it.
So one of the best quotes from that is the next time somebody hits me, I'm gonna hit them back. That's everything.
You know who's an underrated character from like the beginning of the film? Rio.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Rio. Like,
He's just a little dude.
he's a little dude. I want more. I need more Rio content. Please.
Rio and Bad Batch?
I don't know how that would work.
Well, Tobias is older, and him and Val and Rio could just be like some smugglers, you know.
And then they just accidentally ran into to the Bad Batch. You never know.
You never know. If we got
Oh my God,
Ahsoka and
animated-
Book of Boba Fett,
Animated
Yes.
Tobias Beckett. Woody Harrelson
Animated
returns
Tobias-
as Tobias Beckett. Iconic.
Woody Harrelson and Jon Favreau in animation.
Ugh, iconic.
Yes.
John Favreau voices his like 5th animated character. It's like his 8th Star Wars character he's playing. He's like
It
really
is.
famous.
But yeah, and that whole chase scene is really good. And there's like, I think it's Chewie's hanging off the edge, right?
No,
That's the train.
he's talking about the chase in the beginning of the movie, like the opening sequence when Han and Kira and
On the
speeder-
train. Wait, is that the chase you're talking about?
No, the opening chase on Corellia on the speeder when they're
Oh,
Like
I
a
feel
blue scooter.
stupid.
Yeah.
I feel really stupid. Oh, that's why I was talking about Rio, because I thought you were talking about the chase at the beginning.
no.
I thought you were just bringing it up because he's a cute little guy.
Love Rio.
No, I meant because I thought you were talking about the train chase. Okay, I'm stupid. We're just gonna gloss over
We're
that.
just gonna pretend it never happened.
I really like Rio, and I really want to talk about him. And I honestly thought that you were talking about. Like,
I'm here to talk about Rio if you want to talk about Rio.
love Rio, man. Anyone know if there's a Rio pop figure? Let's look it up.
Yes, there is. That's
I
one of
still
the
need a
only
Han
solo
Pop.
ones I don't have.
I still need Han. I have,
There he is. There's that little guy.
and for some reason, the Star Wars store in my mall like stays stocked with Tobias Beckett. He's
Oh my gosh! Same.
I don't know.
Like-
They must have made a ton, and then everyone was like, I don't know.
No, I feel
walked-
like that's the thing with all of the solo merch. They just made so much and then people didn't like it for whatever reason. So, I mean, it's good for us solo
Yeah.
stins now because it's
Really
all, like, on
beneficial
clearance.
for me. That I was like, once again, I did not have to buy my solo lounge fly for like $300.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I walk into the. You guys know like the calendar store that sells pop figures.
Mhm.
Do you guys have that? You know what I'm
Something
talking
like
about?
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like,
like a little. It's like basically a little calendar store, and every time I walk in, there's a Tobias Beckett pop figure. Every time, it's like Tobias Beckett, Jana,
Yep.
and like Admiral
Usually mine
Connix or something like that.
Yeah, Conics
Yeah.
and Rose too are pretty popular.
always
They're not
there,
popular,
yeah.
but they're
They're
on
just
the
like
shelf.
not bought.
Yeah, I have a
unfortunately.
Rose.
I have both of the roses.
I love her.
I do have the Enfy's Nest.
Me
That was
too.
like my first ever pop figure was Enfy's Nest.
Really?
Yeah, she's really neat. Yeah, the only solo ones I have are Lando and Enfy's Nest. You said you have like the whole set?
I have Kira, I have Enfys, I have 2 of the Hans. I have L3, Val, and Dragon Boss. So I got a couple more to go,
Damn.
but it's
Like,
like my
you're-
goal right now.
Yeah, you're like there.
I think
Hmm?
the Lando from Solo.
Mhm.
'cause she's
In the
really-
yellow.
Yes.
Oh.
We know there's 2 Landos. I just
Tropical
learned this.
outfit. Oh, I love
Yeah, there's the well, no, there and so there's the there must be 3. You're right, because I had the tropical one. I traded it.
Why would you trade that?
Okay,
You
hear me out.
traded one of the
Hear
best
me out.
books in all of Star
Hear-
Wars?
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out before you kill me. I started with a Grief Karga pop figure because I was gonna get it signed that day, but then Carl Weathers is an a-hole and he
Signs
charged
everything
$300.
flat.
And he's like, he charges an extra $200 if it's not flat. Stupid. Anyway, yeah, right.
That's so stupid.
I don't like Carl Weathers. He makes me upset. And I talked to him, and he was
Sorry,
like,
Carl Weathers, if you're listening to
Carl
this.
Carl Weathers, if you're listening to this, I don't. They Fly Now doesn't vibe with me.
And you can fight Carter at Star Wars Celebration.
You can
Just go
fight
ahead
me.
and find me. I'm right
Listen,
now. I'm currently aggregating people who are fighting at Star Wars Celebration. Right now, it's just a list
Em
of
will be
people
the
fighting Hayden. but I can add in more.
I know you played Apollo, Creed, and Rocky. I'll be good. Anyway, so I started with Grief Karga, and then I traded Grief Karga for Lando, and then I traded Lando for something, but then I traded all the way up for like Luke versus Vader on Bespin, like this set. It was worth it.
Still
I'm
not better.
sorry. I'm sorry.
He's like you traded the perfect one for the perfect one.
That is a top 5 Star Wars outfit, and you cannot tell
really
me any
is.
different.
He is drippy. Lando is drippy. Like, I don't care what anyone says. That man's always wearing the heat.
Mhm.
How did we get here?
We were at number 3. You
3.
confused
I think I need to do
Lando
my
for
number
train
3.
heist. Yeah, Em has been number 3.
I don't know how we went to Train Heist to Lando, but
Here we are.
We're there.
here we are. And Em, what is your number 3 moment?
Unsurprisingly, I think my top 3 moments are all Han and Kira moments. So my number 3 is them meeting for the first time on Dryden's yacht again. It's
So
such
good.
it's so good. The way he immediately gets so happy and then just like holds her face and was like, I was gonna come back for you, makes me wanna cry. And then she's like, she's happy, but she like can't be. And like I think it's one of those great moments that indicates just how much to like Kira has moved on, because like as much as I think Han is still kind of the boy who he was on Corellia, Kira is very much not the girl who she was on Corellia, and her life has taken a very different path, and she's also, I think, I mean, in Most Wanted you kind of learn that like Han and Kira, it seems, always wanted different things. As much as I think they wanted to be together, I think like they always had different goals and different aspirations, and I think this is one of the first moments where we really get that indication of that. As I think as much as she wants to be, and she just wants to, love Han and be with him. And also I don't know, I think it's a really nice moment of like, I think this dedication that Han has to the people he loves, like that's the one thing that I think Solo does really well, is really show that the lengths that Han is willing to go for his family. Seeing this, after The Force Awakens, where he goes to Ben and he literally dies for him, is such a nice character progression. And even in the original trilogy, where he's so, as much as he keeps saying he's going to leave, he keeps staying for Luke and Leia, and then he literally like gets frozen in carbonite for, Leia. And this, like, just, I think it's a really great character moment and very sweet. And I just love how happy Alden looks in that scene. His just little smile
Yeah, Han gets a bad rap.
He really does.
Yeah.
Like especially when it comes to the sequels, like people are like, "Han just a downbeat dad who left his kid." It's like, no. That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
I
And
think
have you? Oops, sorry.
Solo and The Force Awakens Han are my favorite like iterations of the character.
Yeah, I love in Force Awakens when Han's like, "It's true, all of it,"
Oh.
and it's like, you've come such a long way, my boy. You've come
I've
such a
always-
long way.
I think it was Rhonda with a book one time commented, and I've like really taken on that like Han probably saw some of Kira in Rey.
Oh.
And like as much as he saw like himself, he also probably saw like, this girl who's been stuck on this planet and like, just like is just trying to survive, and like that's very like Kira. And like I wonder if like part of this need to protect her, what didn't he also like, comes from like, my son was led down this bad path, but also like knowing the path that Kira was left down when he left her. She was sold to Crimson Dawn. If he leaves Rey, what's going to happen to her? If he stays with Rey, maybe he can help her.
Stop.
I feel like that's
Stop.
I feel like it's intentional because Loris Kasdan wrote both Solo and Force Awakens and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Lauren Kasdan does it for the Han stands.
He really does. He really does.
Have y'all read Bloodline?
I haven't yet. I have it, but I haven't read it.
There are a lot of really cute Han and Leia
Really
moments
cute.
in that.
And like, it's Han's love life is just so sad. Like, it is. It's so cute sometimes, but in the end, it's just like, well, I guess I gotta go, and you can't come with me.
He's serving his senator's husband realness in that book.
I feel bad for Han, man. Okay, let's keep progressing. Liv, number 2.
Okay, so my number 2, as previously said that it was coming, is the closet scene.
That's my number 2 as well.
It's
And that's
like,
your number 2 too, Em?
Yes.
Yes.
And I would almost guarantee, I don't want to say this, but I could almost bet that we have the same number 1.
oh, probably.
We probably have the same number 1.
probably.
But we'll talk about number 2 first.
Just the scene. Oh my god. The music, first of all. Controversial opinion, that is my favorite love theme in all of Star
You're
Wars.
so right for that.
Like,
You're
it's
so
just
right for
so
that.
good. And that scene, like,
Across the stars.
do I want to be Han? Do I want to be Kira? Who knows? It's like the horniest scene in all of Star Wars, but
It,
I'm here for it.
It is. The tension is.
I gotta think about that hard.
I do think, like, I think I said this, I made TikTok, but like when somebody's like, oh, what's the best Star Wars kiss? It's that. I don't
is.
care.
It is.
I love Han and Leia with all my heart, and I do love their kiss. That is the best kiss. It is.
There's just so much tension.
The tension, it's all there. Amelia Clarke and Alden are perfect together.
Yeah, they're. That scene is like. It's
What
good.
the hell?
I don't know what I just made.
I was just like,
I made some random noise, but let's keep moving.
Are you busy? And then my favorite is Beckett. Are you busy? Kind of.
And also the parallels, like Han's always trying to make out in a closet, like with Leia.
Damn, he is!
And then gets walked in on with C-3PO, and then this.
And I don't know if you guys have read the solo novelization,
I
but
have not.
there is a part on Corellia where they're hiding from like the white worms, and they're hiding in a literal barrel of eels. And Han tries to kiss Kira, and Kira's like, "What are you doing?" That book is a treasure, honestly. It is so good.
I have
There's,
so
like,
many tabs in it.
There's a whole section of Lando describing his what hair products he uses.
And he's mad because Chewie uses.
What?
Wash your hair because he feels bad, and then he's like, he wasted all my expensive conditioner.
I left hair everywhere.
Plus, the solo novelization gave us the iconic Enfys Nest Saw Gerrera Jyn Erso scene,
yes.
which should have been in the movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
In the there's an epilogue in the solo novelization where Enfys Nest sells coaxium to Saw, and Saw brings an 11-year-old Jyn Erso with him. And so Enfys Nest and Jyn
You
Erso
were
meet.
freaking out when you read that. I know you were.
I was screaming and crying. I was like freaking out, and then they have this kind of like moment, and Enfys says to Jin, she said, "People will underestimate you, let them," and it's everything to me.
It's so good.
It's so
Iconic.
And also this is why Enfys Nest should be an Andor.
Yes.
That would be great.
We need more
So-
Enfys Nest.
Just anything.
I feel like because I've heard a lot of great things about the solo novelization.
It's great.
I honestly might have to order it after this show
You can
because
Easily
should.
get it used for like $5, like
Mhm.
easily on like thrift books. Like
Yeah, I just got a hardcover copy for like $4, I want to say, on thrift books. Yeah, so definitely recommend it. It adds so much to the movie.
The Kira
So
backstory
much.
in that. Is
Yes.
there's because I feel like a lot of the times the novelizations they do add some things, but they don't add a ton, from what I've heard. But it seems like Solo adds a ton.
hmm Like, not a ton chronologically, I guess, but
Mhm.
like, it gives a lot more context.
Mhm.
Like Em said, like the Kira backstory, it just makes her entire story in the movie so much more tragic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
Because like you
Yeah,
don't
for
realize, like I think because they skip over it, but like you don't really realize like she is a slave. Like she was sold to Crimson Dawn. She basically like Dryden was even drawn to her because she kept like killing guards to try to escape, and like that's why he was initially kind of like drawn to her. But yeah, like it's incredible, and you also learn more about L3s, and that's a really great moment because like we learn about Kira's backstory because she's talking to L3, and we get L3's backstory as well. And that makes L3 kind of more, even give her more context, and also makes her ending a little more tragic because
Mm-hmm.
Oh
you
my
hear
god,
about
they have a bunch of pages about like when she's hooked into the Falcon,
oh,
like how she comes to rationalize. Oh my god, it's so sad. It's just so sad.
add that with the from a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back with L3, just extra emotional damage.
Huh. That's super interesting. Definitely something I'm gonna need to pick up in the near future.
Carter, you may want to read from a certain point of view. Sienna Reese is in that L3 story.
She is.
Wait,
Oh
what?
wait, is it from?
From a certain
The-
point of view.
Is it on Bespin? Is it on Bespin?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's so
'cause
cool.
It's when the Imperials sneak in and disable the hyperdrive on the Falcon. It's from L3's point of view.
Oh, I can get that now.
That sounds like. Liv, have you read Lost Stars?
I haven't. I'm bad with books. Okay, I know.
Okay.
I've been meaning to.
Trust me
good.
when I say this. You need to read that book.
Okay.
Prioritization.
I know everyone says that.
It's changed me.
I
I've never cried harder. That's all.
Great. Looking forward to it then.
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
I'll just link
Number
wherever
one moment.
episode-
Yeah, we had a whole episode on Lost Stars that was just
Emotional damage. The episode.
emotion. Yeah. Number one. You guys have the same number one?
We think so.
I think so. You go first.
You go first, Deb. I went last.
Okay, it's Han and Kira. It's Kira leaving Han.
Yep.
Yeah. it's Kira leaving Han on the beach. That's the number one scene.
Mhm.
Pop off. Go.
So
Go.
good.
I mean, what can I say?
Words.
The emotions. Her staring down at him. Oh, well,
beautiful
first, I mean, we have to
shot.
start with the elevator where she said, when I would think about you, I would smile. And he gets on and they kiss one last time, and then
Oh my God.
she puts on the elevator, and then she just turns around, her face goes cold, and then she calls, and you think oh no, is she completely bad? But then she's watching Han as she drives away, and you just know that she is sad because she is leaving behind that part of her life officially, and of course Han is being left, and that's really sad. And I think that's of course he has Chewie, but I think that's really emblematic of to why Han chose to just stay with Chewie for so long, is this idea that because the last person he trusted left him behind, and he had spent so long trying to get back to her, and then finally they're together, and he thinks that they'll have their chance finally, and no, and it's so good, it's so well shot where you see it it switches back between them, and Kira's in the window with kind of the shade over her face.
Oh, emotional damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's just. I don't even have anything to add. That scene just makes me so emo.
Street getaway.
Oh my god.
That's
And we love.
And Taylor
we love-
Swift.
I was literally just gonna say.
Taylor Swift actually, yes, did Reputation come out before Solo? Yes, but did Taylor Swift clearly see an early screening of Solo and write Getaway Car specifically about Kira and Han? Yes. It's no surprise I let you win, because us traitors never win. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's too much.
I left you in the motel bar, put the money in the bag, and I stole the key. That was the last time you ever saw me.
we got some conspiracy theories going on here.
No,
here
I
for it.
swear, Lucasfilm let her see it early. It's
There's
the only
only-
explanation. Please, if you haven't listened to Getaway Car,
Listen,
please.
I have an edit up on my page that is that scene with Getaway Car playing over it just to prove how well it fits.
That's awesome. Is there anything else? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Solo I feel like we didn't touch on, like the Empty's Nest
Mhm.
We didn't
reveal.
talk about
is
the
really,
Kessel
really
Run
good.
at all, and that's
No.
the
I was just
main
gonna
part
say
of
we didn't talk about the Kessel Run. I'm really surprised that neither of you had the Kessel
Well,
Run in your top five.
Well, in our defense, we talked about the score of the Kessel Run. We didn't talk about the scene of the Kessel Run.
It's a good scene.
Yeah,
I just love
Kessel
Han,
Run's cool.
Han being like, "Yeah, my best friend taught me this tactic. He also died while doing it." And like that whole sequence is just so good.
But yeah, I mean, I want to rewatch Solo now, like really bad, because It's been a minute. But yeah, I think we can now move into Rogue One, which I know M absolutely loves Rogue One, as I'm sure Liv does too.
I rewatched it today, and that wasn't a good choice.
That was not a good
I cried
choice.
so much.
Because Hay and Liv kept being like, because Hay has only watched it like twice. And she keeps saying that she hasn't rewatched it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Really? Huh.
Yes.
God, there's something I was gonna say about it. Oh, have any of you guys watched have you guys ever watched it and watched White? I can't talk right now. And then went right into A New Hope.
It's so good.
Have any of you guys done that?
I've seen
'Cause
like a YouTube edit where someone connected like the last scene of Rogue One and then the beginning of A New Hope, but not like the movies back to back.
See, I did it the other week.
Yeah.
Out of body experience.
So good. No, I remember.
And that's like when. Oh, sorry.
No, I remember I saw Rogue One in an IMAX theater, and then as soon as I got home, popped on A New Hope.
Yeah, and like when getting people into Star Wars, it's almost like, do you want to show them Rogue One and then A New Hope? I don't know. Maybe. Because like I think that would be really interesting, because like you get to learn these characters and you're like, oh wait, they all die. The stakes here are extremely high before you get into New Hope. I don't know. I haven't tried it with anyone yet, but someone's gonna be my lab rat one day. But M, if you want to go first for your number 5 moment in Rogue One.
Oh god, okay. I'll go number 5. I'll go with Cassian Andor's introduction scene. I think that is such a fantastic scene that really sets him apart from a lot of the heroes that we've grown used to in Rogue One, or not in Star Wars, because he is basically the only hero that we see kill like an innocent person and provoke. It's basically like him, at least in an intro, it's basically him and Han with Greedo. Those are the two where like we're told this person is our hero, but then we see like them, you know, shooting someone. But it's such a perfect introduction, I think, to him. And in that moment where after he kills them, he kind of has this like look on his face of like, he has just that millisecond to process what he's done and like regret. And I think it's such a perfect setup for good people have to do bad things for the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And also how committed he is to the cause, the fact that he did that in an instant because he needed to get away because he had important information, like, which is such a core like central part of his character, to the point where like the Cassian that we see is like almost so lost in the rebellion that I think he's lost like kind of his sense of self, which is kind of interesting and something I hope that they explore in Andor, is this like sense of kind of him losing himself in the rebellion. And I just think that Diego Luna does such a good job playing up both like the charisma of Cassian in the beginning and his like intelligence and just perfect rebel spy moment. Yeah, I love that scene. I think it's such a bold introduction, and it's so cool. I think after that happening immediately after like we see the intro with Jin, I think those are two like very perfect introductions for our main characters.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, just like him shooting that innocent guy, and it's like, oh, I guess this is where we're at. Hereth, do you have anything else to touch on with that scene?
No, I agree with Em's like commentary of like perfectly with like I feel like that's the perfect introduction for Cassian's character, because you're like you see him explain the Death Star, like it's like a planet killer, and then like Cassian just shoots him, and just like how cold it is, it's just like it's the perfect introduction, just where Cassian's at in this moment. And I feel like also at the same time with Rogue One, the issue I have with like the opening is it just jumps around so quickly, because you're just going from like Cassian shooting and then Bodhi getting kidnapped and then like Jin getting out of prison. It's just like always goes so quickly together. It's just like it just like hyper like speeds through all of this. It's a,
Mhm.
so I feel like this one stands out of all of them because they're just all thrown back to back to back. But Cassian killing, like the intel just to get the Death Star plans, I thought was such a perfect scene.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Liv, what is your number 5 moment?
I think, okay, it's not like a specific moment, but like, so when I was watching it today, I was noticing all of the Rebels references. So I think that would be like my number 5 favorite thing. It made me so happy. Like the one Rebel soldier saying Carabas, Chopper just zooming by in the background. The General Syndulla announcement.
General Syndulla. Oh my
it made me
god.
See
so
the
happy.
ghost a couple
Yeah.
of times.
Mhm.
Can
Mhm.
you?
You see-
I didn't even.
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't even notice.
I think you can see it once, like Jin and Cassian, when they're walking to the ship on Yavin 4, you can see it, and then it's harder to spot, but it is at the Battle of Scarif flying around.
I guess I'm gonna
Yes.
have to rewatch
It's
it.
like, yeah, I saw a screenshot of it the other day.
If you go on YouTube, I think like there's a video that's like every time the ghost shows
Okay.
up in Rogue One, and they stop and they'll like circle it in red for you.
Yep.
Also, not to go back to Solo, but I figured out a couple weeks ago that, you know, in the Sabacc scene when Han
Mhm.
says that he has the VCX 100, that's the ghost.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
What?
cool! I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
that
the same ship
either.
as the ghost. So, fun
Or it's like
fact.
the ghost model.
Yeah.
like, not the ghost, but like
not
the-
not
Like
like
the
specifically the ghost,
not
but like
yeah.
the Falcon
so
is a
cool.
YT 1300 freighter. Like
Yeah,
that.
Killian,
Yeah.
YT 1300 Fitter. Yeah, I was writing a question for Pod Ones that on that earlier.
that would be a good trivia question.
That would be. So if you're listening and you're in the semifinals of the Celebration Trivia Tournament, take notes.
I just think you would
That
great
one's a
trivia.
freebie. Nothing else is free.
But yeah, Liv, I would have to agree. There's a lot of like anything Rebels that just gets like thrown in, or Battle of Exegol, like we see the ghost, like that's perfect. Rebels, man, I
So
love
good.
Rebels. I love me some Rebels. M, what is your number 4 moment?
I think my number 4 is Jin and Saw's reunion on Jeddah. I love Jin and Saw with my entire heart. And that reunion is everything. It's perfect because it shows how angry Jin is. Like, she's trying very hard to be cold and uncaring, which is also what Saw taught her to be. She's trying to show that like he left her behind and she's exactly what she trained her to be, but she has this like rage in her from being left that keeps coming out, and you can see it progress in the scene as he fights back. She keeps getting more upset. She keeps losing control of her emotions, which she doesn't want to do, and she's been suppressing for so long because she can't allow herself to really process all of that. But Saw saying I thought of you every single day, and like I think it's just a perfect encapsulation of like their complicated relationship, especially down to the end where he tells her to leave him behind and that he's is going to stay and face this, and she doesn't want to leave him. It's clear that she doesn't. She reaches for him. She doesn't want to leave him because she's angry at him, but she doesn't want him to die. He's the only family she has, but he doesn't want her to die because she is the only family he has left. It's as much as she has Galen's message, and that's important to him to have the dream live. It's also important that she lives because she's his daughter. She's the only
Yeah.
family that he has left. And I don't know. I just, everything about that is so touching. And she says, like, she pushes back in the Rogue One novelization. She says, like, I don't want the kind Saw Gerrera. Like, when he tries to be like, I missed you every day. Like, she's like, I don't want that. Like, yeah, it's the perfect encapsulation of their complicated and messy relationship. And it's sad too, because there was still so much left unsaid between the two of them, and like Jin never really got time to fully process anything with Saw because she had been suppressing it for so long, and then she just met him, and then he's telling her that like he missed her and that he wants her to live, but then she's immediately off to her next her other father figure.
Next thing,
So
yeah.
it's a lot for her, but yeah, that's my number 4. And I also think Felicity and Forrest just do such an incredible job in that scene. I think that Forrest is such an underrated part of that film. He's really so good as Saw Gerrera, and I'm excited to see him in live action again in Andor, it looks like.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, he confirmed it in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
We did Forrest?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker confirmed. I forget where.
Oh, I was like, I know that Stellan Skarsgård said in an interview that he worked with Forrest.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So everyone was like, and then he didn't like say like Saw, but everyone's like, oh, okay, so yeah, Saw Gerrera's gonna be in this.
Saw Gerrera, that man makes appearance in everything.
I will say this once. I'll say this again. Saw Gerrera and Kenobi manifestation starts now.
They said the Grand Quizzy said familiar faces, and I was like, it's Saw, baby.
Saw Gerrera. I remember I was playing Fallen Order for my first time. I was in Discord VC, and I was like, and like his little head like falls down on like the view of like an AT-AT, and I was like, no way, Saw Gerrera is in here. I was like,
no.
wow, every single thing ever. This man is in everything. But no, yeah, like their relationship is super, super interesting, and I definitely want to see that be explored more.
Read Rebel Rising.
There you go.
That's half the book.
Really?
Yeah, it's the first like half or so of the book is just her in the Partisans being trained by Saw and like going on missions with him, and then he leaves her, and then we see her get left on at a planet that's actively being attacked by the Empire.
Wow.
All right,
Why
we're
did
gonna
he
grab.
say that? I knew you were safe then.
Like he left her in like a bunker. And I think the thought process, like, I knew you were safe. You were in the bunker. You had the blaster and the gun, and like trained her well enough that like he knew. And plus, we later in the book, he actually like, sends one of the Partisans to confirm that she is alive. And Jin is upset when that happens because she's like, I thought he was dead. Because she's basically part of the reason she thought that he didn't come back was because he died. And so when she learns that he's alive and like straight up was like made a conscious choice to leave her, she is very angry.
Understandable.
But yeah, he's also, that's where I think like, that's where he gets really injured. I think it's what causes like his breathing problems because he gets like right in the shoulder. It's a really bad injury from what we're told. Also, he kind of cuts off somebody's face in that scene. It's a lot. There's a lot happening.
Is Rebel Rising the second book? Like, do you have to read Catalyst before or no?
No.
I haven't read Catalyst yet. No, it's a young adult. It's just from Jin's point of view, so it's pretty disconnected from everything. It picks up right after her intro in Rogue One and then ends when she's being interrogated by the rebellion after they break her out of prison.
Okay, I just bought it.
This is a podcast called We Force Carter to Buy Books.
I have a lot of no. I've read a lot of books. I've read a lot of Star Wars books, but I want to know more about Solo and Rogue One.
Get
so
Carter in debt. Let's go.
I actually have to do it on my phone, Amazon, but we're good. $7 on Amazon? Are you kidding me? Give me more Jin and Saw. So, yeah. What number are we on? Number
4, Liv.
Four Liv. Okay.
Yeah.
4 Liv.
Okay. I think my number 4 would be Bodhi when he when he contacts the Rebel fleet, and then he says, "This is for you, Galen." I'm like, oh my god, Bodhi is my favorite. Bodhi is my favorite member of Rogue One.
And that's so valid.
Really?
I can't. And that just, it breaks my heart every single time. There's something about Imperial defectors. I don't know what it is, but they just
I get
have
it.
a place in my heart. There's Han, there's Valance, there's Bodhi, there's Callus, there's Finn. Just, I love
all of the
them
Bad
so
Batch,
much.
technically.
True.
Except for Crosshair.
Fucking Crosshair.
What about Hux?
Hux doesn't count.
Hux doesn't count.
He didn't defect
did it out
because
of
he
spite.
realized what he did wrong. He just hated Kylo and wanted to see him fail.
Ugh.
Hux would have been Supreme Leader if they gave him the chance. He doesn't care.
I
That
still
is
wish
true,
he would have
that
been
is
the
true.
big bad in Rise of Skywalker, but that's
I do too.
a different
That's a whole different
conversation.
thing.
That's a whole different thing.
That's why I don't like it. Because Hux, people compare Hux and Callus all the time, and that's not the right comparison. Hux
They're
should be
not.
compared to Krennic.
Yes.
Yes.
Hux and Krennic are
Yes.
the same,
Yes.
basically. And because I know for a fucking fact, if Krennic had lived and something like that had happened to him, he would have sold the Empire out to the rebellion for his gain in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
I believe that.
Yep.
Yep. Like, oh man. Oh man.
Bodhi, I love his little. One of my favorite like moments is I think him and Saw, but I don't know why, but it like scratches where he goes, I defected. Like he so wants to make himself
Yeah.
so clear.
Yeah.
Riz Ahmed, he like committed to that role too. It's like he sent like I think it's like something like 10 or 12 different versions of like him reading his lines to Gareth. Like he had a bunch of different versions
Whoa.
of the character that like he kept sending. And as Forrest said, he has an effervescence about him. That's the Forrest Whitaker quote about Riz Ahmed playing Bodhi.
I know. I also love.
It's true though.
I don't know if it's
So true. He said, I'll get 10 minutes of screen time and I will make every minute count.
Hey,
Okay.
if you're in a Star Wars movie, I would do the same exact thing.
Okay,
Oscar winner Riz Ahmed.
I may be like speaking because I called the Cape plot that I don't want to like speak this into existence, but like one of my favorite Bodhi Rick moments is the "Are you the pilot?" scene. He's like, "I am the pilot." Just like the scene of like Cassian and like Bodhi on the other side of the jail cells just talking to each other, and how like they instantly think he's a threat, and he's like, "No, he's not a threat." He's like, "We're here to rescue him," and they're like, "What?"
One, of course, you can't forget about poor Gullet.
Not poor Gullet. Don't bring poor Gullet into
It's
this.
the truth.
Poor God.
Poor Gullet speaks the
Bodhi,
truth.
look, cargo pilot. The music cue on that is so great too.
Mhm.
That should be Saw. I swear, if they don't use that music for Saw's entrance in Andor, what is the point?
But yeah, M. Number 3.
Okay, this is really hard. I thought I had it, now I've lost it. I'll go. I think Jyn Erso's Jyn's speech to the Rebel Alliance and
Oh my gosh.
to
so
convince
good.
them to seal the Death Star plans. It's such a good moment, and it's like the perfect culmination of her character development, including the fact that she repeats the line that Cassian told her: "Rebellions are built on hope," and I think that's just such a fantastic moment of like how you see that Cassian and Jyn affected each other, because then immediately in the next scene you have Cassian, this is a rebellion, I rebel, his kind of moment like that. And it's so beautiful. This perfect culmination of her moment. It's this perfect culmination of her trying to live out her father's revenge while also standing up for what is right, like her mother did, and being the rebel leader that Saw trained her to be. And just so beautiful, so inspiring, and just this perfect moment of, I think, too, like, it's never too late to get your hope back. It's never too late to take a stand when you believe in it. And it's never too late to try to do what's right.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that briefing may be the best briefing in Star Wars. Like before battle, like it just gives you chills. Like just chills. I love it.
What chance do we have, or what hope do we have? What choice?
Mm-hmm.
I also just love, like you said, I love Cassian going behind the rebels' back and just, like recruiting people to like fight. Like even if we don't get the approval, we're still gonna go down and fight.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And Liv, you're number 3.
My number 3. it makes me cry this entire movie makes me cry. But when they're sending the troops to Scarif and Bail Organa. And I don't even remember what Mothma says, but like,
Do you trust her? I think is it
yeah,
that?
do you trust her? And then he says, I would trust her with my life. And obviously she's talking about Leia. I can't. I am a Bail Organa stan first, human second. So it was too much. It was too much for me.
I love the fact they put Bail and Mon Mothma in this movie, or especially Bail. Though I love that he just gets his little scenes and moments. I always think about the fact that like it's when he steps out of the shadows in that first briefing, and I always think about the fact that he's looking at Jin and he thinks about Leia because what he sees is a young girl who is not much older than his daughter, but also like she didn't get the chance that Leia had. She didn't get the loving home and the chance to join the rebellion that Leia had. And I just like, I know that he thinks of like how much like, and he probably feels really like bad for Jin.
Emotional damage.
I trust her with it. That's such a good. And you're like, no, Bail, don't go.
Don't trust her with your life.
You're like, get your wife. Where's Brea? Where's Brea?
Oh my god. Shout out to Leia, Princess of Alderaan, for proving that Bail and Brea are the best parents in all of Solo. Oh my god. Star Wars.
And a superior
Solo
Star Wars.
brain rot.
And a superior Star Wars couple. Like the thing that was killing me when I was reading the Padme books was like when Brea kept saying like she found like a man who was willing to like be like second to her so she could be queen and like take her last name to be a part of Alderaan. I was like, I'm gonna cry.
No,
Bail Organa is the best man.
He is. He's
the scenes of Padme and Brea Organa in Queen's Shadow absolutely sold me on the fact that like of course Bail Organa would take Leia, because like if you watch the prequel trilogy without context, like yeah, they have interactions with Attack of Clones a little bit and a little bit,
but we don't get to see that relationship
at
yeah.
all. So like seeing it in Queen's Shadow, I'm like, I get it. I get why Bail
Like
took Leia.
this is why, yeah. Like seeing the relationship between the three, Padme, Mon Mothma, and Bail is
so important.
It's like so good. Is really it's super super important.
And like I think it's so good in showing like how easily Padme would have fit into the rebellion, and like knowing that she would not have hesitated to join a rebellion if she had been given the chance.
Yeah. Star Wars is just emotional damage.
George Lucas is my enemy for taking that plotline out of.
Oh my god, right?
Yes. We were talking about that earlier. We were just like, why did they remove it? It's like Chris and I counted up. It's like 6 minutes of runtime. It's like, why remove this?
It's perfect. It is like
And it actually gives Padme a purpose in that movie.
In that
besides
movie,
being pregnant and sad.
Right?
And dies.
Oh, we don't know. She died of sadness.
Gotta love that.
Love it. Anyway, back to Rogue One. Is that number three?
Three, yeah.
Live number 3?
Yes.
That was for Bodhi Rook.
Was it?
So
No, Bodhi was 4.
Bodhi was 4.
Bodhi was 4, yeah.
then-
so we're on.
We're on 3, so it's
We're on Live number 3.
No, I haven't done my number 3 then.
yeah. I just did number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. M number 3.
I just did my number 3 because I did.
Yeah, you just did your number 3. Yeah.
Because I did Cassie's intro on Jin, and then I just did Jin's
Yeah. So
speech.
you're on number 2. So it'd be M
Yeah.
number
Math
2.
is hard.
Number 2. Then.
So am I on number 2
You're
now?
on number 2.
Okay.
I was counting it up. I was like, in my head, I was like, and then
I was
and then
like,
we went the whole conversation. I was like, oh wait, yeah, M's on 2. Then it's 2, 1, 1.
My
okay,
number
number
2 is not a surprise. It is the welcome home scene. I love that scene. I think it's my favorite quote in all of Star Wars, actually. I'm not used to people sticking around when things go bad. Welcome home is so sweet because Jin really every single person she's loved has ever left her or died, and she gets to this point where like she really can't trust anyone because she knows that it's just gonna lead to hurt. And I also think that she kind of has this internal thing of like, you know, when so many people around you are leaving you or dying, it's kind of like, is it me? And then she gets to these people, and in the Rogue One novelization, she says it's Bodhi, Chirrut, and Baze, and Cassian, who have seen her at literally her lowest point and her saddest, worst moments, and they're choosing to stick by her, and they're choosing to follow her, and to believe in her, and to trust her, and that is not something that she's had a lot in her life. And I think Cassian saying it makes it just all the more better, knowing that most likely, you know, after Cassian lost his parents, that like he probably found in some way a family in the rebellion, and he's probably also lost a lot of people, but you know, he can be there for her, and she can also be there for him, because it doesn't seem like, and I think like I think Diego has said this, where it's like kind of like at that point it seems like K2 is kind of Cassian's only friend in the rebellion at that point. So the fact that they can have each other, and it is the perfect words that she needs to hear in that moment, because she's been searching and she's not had a home for so long. So to get that, and also to have that right before she dies, I think is so beautiful. I love that scene.
That's your
Gotta
number
love
two.
Star Wars and that found family.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know. Plus, Diego and Felicity did that eye contact. They did that close face thing for us. They knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
No, like we were talking about in relationship to Star Wars, like that elevator scene of like before they go up, of just them like looking at each other, just it's so good.
Yeah, I agree. And Liv, you're number two.
My number two, it's probably when Jin is watching the message from Galen. It just, because up until this point in the movie, she's had so many walls up, like she's just keeping everyone out. She's being flippant. She pretends that she doesn't care, and then as soon as she sees her dad talking, she just breaks down and all of her walls come down, and it breaks my heart. But it's something that I think needed to happen for her. It gave her something to fight for again, and it's so good. So good.
It's so, I feel like people like misinterpret. It seems like people sometimes misinterpret Jin not caring as like the narrative, specifically like Felicity not reacting or Felicity not being a good actor. But no, the point is she's not. She's intentionally burying. She's intentionally not being responsive, because she's just buried her emotions for so long, and like then all of a sudden everything in her life is coming at her. They're saying that she needs to go find. They have a message from her father, and she has to go find Saw Gerrera, and it's a lot for her. And yeah, when she just breaks down, and then my Stardust. I thought of you every day, or I thought of you only in the moments I was strong. Like, just
it's too much.
It's too much. And then when she just like literally like after the message goes away, and she literally just like blaze, and she like can't even like Jeddah is literally like being blown up, and she just like can't even comprehend, because like it's just too much.
Like she just like drops to her knees, and like Cassian's like, "We gotta go," and she's just like, "I can't." It's just like, oh.
Yeah. Oh man, this movie is just emotional damage after emotional damage. I wonder if your guys' number one will be the same.
I don't think so this time.
You think so?
I just love how synced they are. Like Solo, they're like, for sure. This one, they're like, I don't know.
Well, Solo, because we've talked about like that scene before and how much we love it, and since neither of us said it, I figured it was gonna be.
Well, number one.
My number one is the beach scene. at the end.
Oh.
The elevator and the beach scene. Everything that, do you think anybody out there is listening? I do, someone's out there. The elevator scene where they're just looking at each other and it's just kind of everything. I think it's like, it's, you know, this moment of reflection of like everything that they could have done and they could have been together if only they could survive. Cassian saying your father would be so proud of you, which is just like the perfect words that Jin needs to hear. And I think most importantly, this reflection that, like, once again, in the Rogue One novelization, Jin talks about how she basically thinks she's going to die alone. And not only, so she's going to die alone, and that she's going to die with people not knowing she is, like, Jinner. So she's going to die under her assumed name. And Cassian gave her, you know, she was alone for so much of her life. She thought she was going to die alone, but now she gets to, not in her final moments, she gets to be with someone. She gets to have someone there with her, and she gets to know that he knows who she is. He fully knows who she is as a person, and it's just really beautiful. And I think somebody pointed out that, like, they think that, like, Jin put her face in front so Cassian didn't have to look when the blast came towards them, and just like it's this most like perfect emotional moment on them and then just holding each other, knowing that it's the end. Oh god, I mean, I really love all of Scarab. Like, the deaths in this film, as much as they hurt, look to the Force and you will find me, and then Bay's repeating, and then he has a quote in the novel where he says he never strays far from Chirrut. He says, like, he will not leave Chirrut now. Like, he has stayed by Chirrut's side for so many years, and he will not leave him even in the end. And, like, that's just like, and K2 imagining, he invents a scenario where he basically he thinks about Cassian surviving, and that makes him happy. Like, that's his final thought, is Cassian surviving. And yeah, it just hurts. The last line is in, like, the novelized, or the last line of that scene is like, Jin Erso became one with the Force, and I think that's such a beautiful moment, especially, like, you know, when looking back on, like, what her mom said and trust in the Force, and her having her Kuiper, and her really struggling with that, especially in moments like when she was in prison. She really struggled to keep her faith and keep her hope, but her becoming one with the Force, I think, is so beautiful. I'm really gonna cry. Yes, that's my favorite moment of the whole film. I think it's so beautiful. In an ideal world, I kind of think that would have been the last scene. It would have just ended on that, or it would have skipped to Leia receiving the Death Star plans.
No, I forget where I think you said this in VC. You're just, like, joking about, like, every time you watch Rogue One after this and you just blank out, and then the movie just ends.
Yeah. I blink out, and then I kind of come back in when Leia shows up. I'm like, oh, Leia!
Yeah. That scene is done so perfectly. And Liv, what's your number one?
So, I mean, you guys kind of mentioned it, but it's Chirrut's kind of death scene, like him walking to the Master Switch.
Oh.
I really like how this movie deals with the Force, because I've never been a huge fan of the Jedi, but the way that this movie kind of looks at the Force as something more spiritual rather than a religious doctrine that they have to follow, it's just something that's everywhere and all around you. It just, I like that a lot more, and Chirrut's faith in it, it's just inspiring and hopeful and makes me sad, but you know. But him, look to the Force and you will find me. That hurts.
Chirrut,
a lot.
Come back. That's what always gets me, is Chirrut, come back to me. Baze runs out. Oh, don't go.
Like, I feel like Baze's, like, last stand is, like, one of the most underrated scenes in Star Wars. Is him just taking everyone out while standing on one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
And he looks over to Chirrut and then just
He just wants like Chirrut to be the last thing that
Yep.
he sees. Anyway, they were in love.
They were in love.
They were in love. I don't understand when people try to be like, well, they're just and how I know they're in love. It's because the Rogue One writers didn't even try to pull that bullshit where like they're like, oh, he's like a brother to me. They never even
Nope.
say that. So I'm convinced.
No, they're husbands. No,
They're
I don't take
husbands.
criticism.
And because of that emotional damage of I Am One with the Force, anytime it said anywhere in Star Wars, I'm like the scene in Once Upon a Time in
Correct.
Hollywood.
Yep.
One with the Force. Oh. That was when you hear Chirrut's voice like in the World Between Worlds. That was so
Oh my god, you do.
Oh.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as long as Jin also voice also appears in the World Between Worlds.
Yeah, I didn't know that the first time I watched it. I knew that you could hear Chirrut's voice, and I didn't know that you could hear Jin's, and I like had a breakdown. I was like, well, I did not expect it, and I was like a mess. And then I think like Rey's plays like very soon after her, so I was like,
Well, now I think we're all broken.
Solo was like, what fun.
This is the fun Star Wars movie, and Rogue One's like slamming you down for like 2 hours straight.
I'm surprised the Vader scene wasn't in either of your top 5. Any of the Vader scenes.
Most
You don't like the Vader scenes.
overrated scenes in Rogue One.
I like the Krennic Vader scene.
I was just about to say
that's
that.
what I meant too. Like even the Krennic Vader.
Oh no,
scene.
I like that scene. I think it's a really good. I like that scene a lot actually. I think it's a really fun. I like the joke, and I
The
think
dad
that it's a
joke.
really good.
Choke on
And I
your
think it's a really good
aspirations.
representation of Krennic as like this really ambitious villain, and how his ambition is ultimately his downfall,
Yeah.
and his ego is ultimately his downfall. Because like he's like trying to figure out how he can use Vader to get ahead, and I also think the perfect way to take down Krennic is to like make fun of him, and that's what Vader does.
The part like I love about every time how especially since I finished reading Thrawn Treason, Rogue One just hits different because of like Krennic and Thrawn's game in that whole book. So it's just like when I watch Rogue One, I'm like F you Krennic the entire movie.
Yeah, Krennic's piece of crap.
Krennic is the worst.
It really
He
is.
like,
I'm shocked Tarkin didn't get mentioned either, but like I like the Tarkin scenes. It's just there's after a while I'm like Tarkin just get out of the movie. Like the first time you're like, oh cool, it's Tarkin, and like the rest of the movie you're just like, oh, it's Tarkin.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
my
it's
one
tough.
exception to like actors being CGI'd in, and it's only because like they couldn't, they like absolutely could not get the new actor, nor could they really recast because it's literally days
It's
before
like
A New Hope.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, that's like my one exception to like the CGI face actor rule.
It's just
Mhm.
like the first scene I get he's in there, but the rest of the movie it's just like, why is he in here?
The last scene wherein he's there, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Though.
The
You
last
make
scene,
that?
but the rest you're just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I feel that for sure. But
I don't. Yeah, the hallway
I think-
scene is not in my top 10. It's not in my top 20.
I love the hallway scene. I think it's cool.
It's cool, but it's just like people just only talk about the hallway scene when it comes to Rogue
Mhm.
One.
I
That's
agree,
the
I
only
agree. I
talking
think
There were
point.
the-
shadows.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that cohesive with the entire film if you're not watching the films in chronological order. Like if you're not watching A New Hope immediately after it, or like, and also like it's like even if you argue like, oh, it's to get the bearings, like there's so many other moments in that film and characters who ground the film in that time. I don't know. I think it's the most overrated scene. I also think that it has done weird things where like people are convinced that we need like an R-rated Vader movie
It's
because of that.
so
I-
weird. I hate those
And I just
people.
think that was not really the point of that scene anyway.
It felt like
Yeah.
it was a part of the Rogue One reshoots. There was like, oh, it's throws in the
It
end. That's
was.
cool.
Yeah.
It was. I know that. That's also it. Is like I think the reshoots ended up doing good overall, but the fact that they felt that scene wasn't necessary until the reshoots is interesting to me.
I thought it was a pretty cool scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. I'm gonna be straight up. I like it.
I'm sorry. I'm
I get where you're coming
unnecessarily
from.
mean.
I get
about
where you're. No. I totally get what you're coming from because like, as a Rogue One fan, like there's so much more to the movie, and like whenever you mention Rogue One, probably that's all you get is
Oh, Vader badass.
Vader scene. Yeah.
Like I've
Which-
had people
yeah.
forget who Bodhi was, and it's like he's one of the main and be like, I don't
Yeah.
really know who that is. I'm like, it's the main character, one of the main characters, the person who has the entire plot happen because he does stuff. Yeah,
No,
but let's remember the Vaders.
I feel like if you go to like a casual Star Wars fan on the street, like who just only watches the movies, and you're like, all right, name all the characters in Rogue One, they're gonna be like, well, Jin, Cassian, maybe K2, but the rest of it,
Vader.
That's literally what's gonna happen.
Which is a shame. Because Bodhi is an icon.
He really is.
And Riz Ahmed deserves. I don't understand why we don't have a Bodhi book or comic yet. He's the
Yeah.
only character who doesn't have it.
He has to be in Catalyst, right? He has to.
No,
He isn't in
he's
Catalyst?
not.
What?
No, from what I can gather, he's not in Catalyst. And, like, I don't know, like, my sister, like, I don't know how true this is, but, like, it might have, like, I just don't understand because clearly they didn't make a Cassian, like, book or comic except for that one K2 Cassian standalone because they had talked about doing the TV show from even before the film was out.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly that's why they haven't done a lot of extra Cassian content. But they did a Jin book, they did Catalyst, and they did the Cheer and Base book. But Bodhi hasn't gotten anything.
They just shove over Bodhi, just like, no, you don't matter.
Which is weird, because why wouldn't you, like, I think that they should do an audiobook, and I think they should let Riz Ahmed, or they should do a book, and they should let Riz Ahmed do the audiobook.
That
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be awesome.
Academy Award winner Riz Ahmed.
Academy Award winner, where's up, man?
But yeah, I think we're kind of closing in on time. We're at about an hour and a half, which is kind of right where we were aiming. So there's a lot of emotional damage here tonight, but you guys were like literally the perfect people to come on. So we appreciate that. We love all the passion that you
Thank
guys
you.
that you guys brought tonight. So we really appreciate that. And real quick, just let the viewers know, who are you and where can we find you guys and your content? And let's go to Liv first.
So I'm Liv. You can find me Twitter, not Facebook. Why was I going to say Facebook?
Who uses Facebook?
Twitter. I don't use Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Olivia Amidala, all one word. I don't know. I mostly just scream about Solo, if I'm being completely honest.
As you should.
Hey,
And
As
that
you
is
should.
why, yeah, and that's exactly why. Plus, Liv does absolutely amazing closet cosplays and posts incredible pictures of it on her Instagram. So you should follow her for that because they are
Thank you.
so cute.
that's awesome. Yeah, so thank you so much, Liv. And M, same thing to you.
I'm Emily. You can find me on TikTok at StardustM and then on Twitter at _StardustM. And I might get an Instagram soon for Star Wars stuff because I'll probably have pictures of Celebration that I want to post.
Join us.
It's a great platform just to dump your old TikToks on Reels and just like, oh, I forgot. I should probably push stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we appreciate you guys taking time out of your night to come chat with us. And again, we really appreciate it and got me buying a few more books. So so thank you guys so much. Thank you guys to all the viewers who came out and decided to join us tonight. We really appreciate it. And may the force be with you.
Always.